Shalom, shalom, akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. I would also like to give a double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundations of this earth to sing this new song, which comes in the form of this gospel, which would be preached throughout all four corners of this earth and rest upon the ears of the innumerable multitude, men, women, and children of Israel, who may be scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. Shalom. Hey, shalom, beloved Akiyam and Akwath. It's just Bayan back again through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And I just want to get into a brief lesson reacting to this short that popped up on my feed from the twin telepathy podcast. And I guess it's a Eve-based platform from what I could see. But needless to say, interestingly enough, okay, this short popped up on my feed, and it really does speak to prophecy, man. You know, it really speaks to the reality, of Eve, joining herself, to the serpent, as we know, since the days of old, going to the book of Genesis, the 3rd chapter, goes into how she, delighted, in the fruit that she was offered in the form of the philosophies of the serpent, that devil, okay, that has now manifested, okay, into a fire-breathing dragon, man. All right, and through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, I just wanted to bring this out through the spirit, and based off of that talking point here, you're gonna clearly see that, hey, the Bible is undefeated. Okay, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is faithful and true, man. And if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, okay, you will completely comprehend the reality, okay, of prophecy playing out right before your eyes, man. Everyone is subjugated to prophecy. No one's operating outside of the realm of prophecy. You see? And it's just heavy how, the fact sheet that she's going to bring out, all right, makes everything make sense in regards to, Eve's alliance, all right, with Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. Let's play this skip real quick.
White wife, black husband marriages have the highest divorce rate of interracial couples. They are twice the divorce rate of white wife, white husband couples. Black wife and white husband marriages have the lowest rates of divorce. They are 44% less likely to end in a divorce than a white wife and a white husband. So not only are we not divorcing, we're 44% less likely to divorce. Yeah, we staying together. Yeah, we locked in. Yeah, that's after 10 years. Stand on it. Yeah.
So, you see? So you see the cohesiveness between Eve and Evil E via their little statistic sheet, all right, based on, interracial relations between Eve, which would be the so-called black woman, okay, and Esau, right, the self-proclaimed white man. All right, they're 44% likely to stay together, I believe the statistic is. We're going to play this back one more time.
White wife, divorce rate of interracial couples. They are twice the divorce rate of white wife, white husband couples. Black wife and white husband marriages have the lowest rates of divorce. They are 44% less likely to end in a divorce.
So there it goes. It's 44% less likely to end in a divorce. And you see her cheesing. You see her cheesing on that. Yeah, man. Eve is our enemy. Jake, you got to understand that, Jake. Eve is your enemy on this side. Okay? The so-called black woman, Latino woman, and Native American woman are our enemies on this side, man. Now, granted, there are some that, will ride with you and, respect you. they may be like trying to find a diamond in the rough or a needle in a haystack on that one. But they're out there, But for the most part, Eve is our enemy. You see? Why? Because she's linked in with the enemy. Evil E. You see? And it's a spirit because as they go into their little rant, regarding how they're staying together, 10 years, over 10 years, and she threw out that 10 years, which 10 goes into what? Perfection, man. Perfection. You see? Which that's the spirit, because ultimately the judgment that's going to come upon Esau, Edom, and self-proclaimed white man is going to come upon him in his perfection, man. In his perfection, as scriptures tell us. And guess what, Eve? You're going to lose right along with him. Okay, you're going to lose right along with him. All right, Eve is still operating in that same spirit, all right, that she operated in the garden when she played the harlot on Adam. And as a matter of fact, let's go to the humble beginnings. Let's go back in time. Akiam and Aqua. When you go to the book of Genesis, the 3rd chapter, as a matter of fact, I want to start here. Let's go to 1 Timothy real quick. The 2nd chapter. And I'm going to start at the 13th verse. The verse 14 is my point. And it reads, "For Adam was first formed, then Eve." All right, and this is what goes over Eve's head. Eve's head. Excuse me. Okay, Adam was first created. The man comes before the woman. Okay, you woman were created for the man, as it tells us in the creation story. As a help me. Okay, it tells us this in Corinthians as well. The man wasn't created for the woman, but the woman for the man. You see? But guess what? Through the course of prophecy playing out, you women have what? You have scriptures tell us that a woman shall compass a man. So you were able to get around us. How? Through evil E. How? Through the various SNAP programs and government supported programs he's giving you, where he's allowed you to be able to pretty much dwell without a man in the house. And that was all in his effort to remove the strong man, bind the strong man, so he could take over the house. An effort for him to take over the nation, to subdue the nation. You see? Because a man is a necessary asset, the most important part of the family union, man. Now, of course, you women have your role, but without the man there, you're like a chicken with his head cut off, man. You need guidance, man. And without a man in the house, who's guiding you? Esau. Through his various outlets, his media, right? Sitcoms and his narrative. All right, his news. This is how he's guiding you. Without a man in the house, you're being guided by evil E. Okay, why? And this is hence why the so-called black household is so destroyed, right along with Native American and Latino households, man. Because the rest of you women of the tribes are not too far behind. Okay, you move to the beat of the drum of Eve. So you're not too far behind when it comes to your rebellion and disobedience. I mean, granted, you're a little better in certain areas, being that, you know, the way you grew up and within your various captivities, you know, customs were a little more structured, but needless to say, that you out of order as well. You see, you're under the umbrella of Eve as well. Okay, and you women have been granted access, all right, to usurp authority, man, over the men of the tribes, us so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. And who's granted you that access? Evil E. Okay? Being that you've what? You've joined hand in hand with them. This is why you falling with them, man. You're going to fall with them. But anyways, let's continue on. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in transgression. Right. The serpent was able to deceive Eve, which we're going to go get it and read into it. Okay, you being the weaker vessel, you were able to, you were easily deceived. You see? And what were you in transgression of? The law. Okay? The law, man. You played the harlot on Adam, man. You knew damn well you weren't supposed to be talking to no man, no other man. Okay? That serpent being what? That serpent was a malicious man, man. A wizard. A man into witchcraft. Okay? A deviant. Yeah, man. And the serpent had melanin as well. Right? Esau, that same spirit that was in the serpent came in. It was in Cain. Right? And that same spirit is in evil E. Evil E. You see, he lost his melanin through Cain. Through the process of time. Okay? And we're gonna prove that. We're gonna prove to you that serpent in the garden, it was evil E. You see? All you gotta do is go to the book of Revelations. That same spirit that was in the serpent was in Cain, and it manifested into evil E, Esau, Edom. Okay? With that same mark on him as Cain. The curse of leprosy. But anyways, right? Let's read this again. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in transgression, man. Right? Transgression of the law. Eve sinned. Matter of fact, let's prove it real quick. When you go to Sirach, I believe that's Sirach 25. 24 and 25? Or 25 and 24? Khan. There it goes. Right to the point. The book of Ecclesiastes is also known as the book of Sirach. Chapter 25 and verse 24. And it reads, of the woman came the beginning of sin. See? And through her, we all die. Right. Okay, through Eve came the beginning of sin. All right, she was deceived, which placed her in transgression, as we just read. Okay, and through her, we all die, man. All right, we as a nation. Israel, man. We were supposed to be immortals, man. But as it tells us in Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, through envy of the devil, let me go get that real quick. We're going to get to Genesis real quick. The spirit's just moving. Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter. In the 24th verse, and it reads, nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world, right? And through envy of the devil, who envied the devil? Eve. Eve envied the devil, man. And we're going to show you that, right? Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world, right? Into what world? The world of Israel. And they that do hold of his side do find it, showing you that what? The devil is a person. It says, they that do hold of his side. You see? And evil is holding to his side to this very day. As we see here. Okay? Seen her cheesing when she brought up the statistics? Look at it.
Divorce. They are 44% less likely to end in a divorce.
Come on, man. That's obvious. Eve loves Esau, man. Okay? And through her, death came into the world. Because again, the world of Israel, because we were supposed to be immortals. Now, real quick, let me get you this real quick. When you go to the book of Sirach, to prove that. Oh, bear with me. Salaki, I think it's 37. Yeah, I'm just going through the spirit. Could be here. Right here. The book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as the book of Sirach, chapter 37 and verse 25. And it reads, the days of the life of man may be numbered, but the days of Israel are innumerable, man. Okay? So that world, ultimately, that death came into is the world of Israel. You see? Through Eve's envy of the devil. Let's go to Genesis. And we're seeing it on display today, real time. Genesis 3:1, and it reads, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord power had made. Now, again, this serpent, all right, this serpent was a man. Okay? And it's telling us that he was more subtle than any beast of the field, man. All right, these other nations, these other heathen nations are likened unto beasts. All right, this is when you read the book of Psalms 73, the Psalm of Asaph, he mentions how before he came into the knowledge of the Lord, he was a beast before the Lord. Okay? This is why the heathens are known as strange nations in the scriptures. I believe one scripture that goes into it is, what's that, Sirach? I think that's Sirach, the 36th chapter. Okay? Yeah, they're coined as strange nations. Also, Baruch 4. You see? So the heathens are beasts before the Lord. Okay, the field is the world, man. Right? Pursuing the book of Matthew. I think that's the 18th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Continuing on. Look, and he said unto the woman, yeah, have power, said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden, man. Right? And the fruit are likened unto the philosophies, okay, of the heathens, man. The trees of the people. You see that? You should not eat of every tree of the garden. When you go to the book of Mark, chapter 8, real quick. And there's breakdowns on this chapter. In verse 24, real quick to the point. And this is after Yahweh Shai healed the blind man. And he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking. Okay, so this trees you're hearing here, it's allegorical speech. Okay? Genesis is very, very allegorical, full of proverbs, doc sayings. Spirit's got to be on you for you to be able to go through. Precept must be upon precept as well, for it to make sense. See? Now look, and the woman said unto the serpent, again, the serpent being a malicious man, man. A damn devil. As a matter of fact, let's prove that. Let's go to Revelations real quick. Before we continue, let's make this point. Let's hone in on this serpent real quick. Because if a wacky tacky bugged out so-called Christian had it their way, they'll tell you, okay, this is a snake before it lost its arms and legs, man. Let's go here real quick. The book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 9, and it reads, and the great dragon was cast out. Look at that old serpent called the devil and Satan. Okay? Look at, which deceiveth the whole world. Who deceived the whole world? Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. In the form of the Renaissance period, man. Okay? From the time of antiquity to now, this nigga's been deceiving. Through his philosophies, man. And through his religion. Look, he was cast out unto the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. All right, we're just talking to that war in heaven. Now, real quick. I want to get this word. Let's get this word real quick. Let me go get this real quick. Bear with me. Let me see here. Yeah, let me get this right here. So like if somebody was walking by, kind of suspect. I wasn't sure who that was. But yeah, the Revelations 12 and 9. I want to get this word. Devil.
Strong's G 1228. Diabolos. Diabolos.
Right. So in the biblical usage, prone to slander, right? Slanderous, accusing falsely, and Esau is well known for that. Right? Look at metaphorically, look at applied to a man, right? Applied to a man who by opposing the cause of power may be said to act a part of the devil or to side with him. You see? This is who this is talking to in the garden, man. A man who by opposing the cause of power, and he opposed the cause of power. He knew damn well he wasn't supposed to be sitting up there with Adam's wife. Okay? Pushing the narrative for them to go against what Yahweh had commanded them to do. You see? Let's go back. Genesis 3 in verse 2 again, it reads, and the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, power has said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. There he goes, feeding her that venom. You see? Look, for power doeth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. So he told part of the truth. You see? He told part of the truth. Being a deceiver. That was part of his deception, showing you that he was a witch, he was a wizard. Look, and then the woman saw that the tree was good for her, for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes. Okay? And the tree to be desired to make one wise. She took of the fruit thereof and did eat. Okay? Look, and it said, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, showing you that it was a philosophy. Right? She took of the fruit thereof, and it wasn't an apple. Okay? But you bug outs out there. It's going into a philosophy. Right? And did eat. Right? She took on the ways of this philosophy, right? And gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. So she brought this madness to Adam. You see? And he agreed. Okay? Which led us to what? Through the envy of the devil, death came into the world, man. Okay? And Esau has been using Eve, okay, for eons, man, against Jake. You see? He's been using our woman against us, man. Remember, the scriptures say a woman. Let me get this real quick. You get to the book of 1 Corinthians 11:7, it reads, "For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image of the image and glory of power, but the woman is the glory of the man." You see, and evil E knows this. So if he realized if he was able to corrupt her, okay, he's gonna corrupt the whole situation, man. Okay, and ultimately, how he was able to pull this off was he was able to bind the strong man, which is the man, right? By giving Eve power to compass him, by giving her all the little, trinkets and what's the word I'm looking for? Perks. There we go. Right, perks and all types of little there's another word I'm looking for. Benefits, I guess, or what have you. Right, which put her in a position, okay, to not need her man. You see? But now we're coming to the time now where a man is going to be necessary. A man is going to be necessary the times we're coming into now. And you women are going to find that out the hard way, man. And you're going to come to the conclusion, okay, that evil E, he was never for your turn. He was never for your turn. The scriptures tell us, never trust thine enemy, man. Scriptures tell us not to send him by you. You okay? Scriptures tell us not to send him by you, man. Because he can't be trusted. Ultimately, at the end of the day, he's going to stab you in the back. And this is what you Eves have to look forward to, man. Okay, you're 44% unlikely to end in the divorce. It's simple. It's going to come with a stab in the back, man. That's why it's not going to end with no divorce. Because we know evil E's good for, and when times get rough, when times get hard, we know evil E, he's good for taking out everybody. He takes out the whole squad, the fish, the cat, Poopsie, and himself. Everything's going. When the pressure turns up on E, man. Okay, yeah, so your 44% ain't gonna end in the divorce. It's gonna end up ending in the deletion, man. When this nigga loses it, man. Okay? Because contrary to popular belief, at the end, let me close out with this. Salakia. Here we go. I'll close out with this. Ecclesiasticus, also known as the book of Sirach, chapter 14 and verse 7, and it reads, and if he doeth good, who? The wicked, evil E. Right? He doeth it unwillingly, man. Okay? He's always a trick up his sleeve. All right? There's always a gray area with evil E. This is why scriptures tell us in Sirach 12, never trust thy enemy, man. Because as iron rusteth, so does his wickedness. And at the last, he will declare his wickedness. You Eves are going to find out. Okay? You Eves are going to find out. Okay? The whole time, you were joined side by side with a madman. Shalom.